How's it going, everybody? Tyler here with Tyler Teaches, where I teach you some of my favorite Irish dance tricks and steps. Today we're going over one of the most requested tricks, and that's the TIPPY-TREBLES, or that wavy, shaky treble. I've gotten lots of comments and DMs about talking about that, so we're going to be focusing on that today. But before we get started, if you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing and liking this video for more content like this in the future. And also comment below if there's a trick or a step that you'd like to go over. Let me know. I'd love to do a video on it. So when we talk about tippy trebles, we're talking about the shakiness of the front foot. We're doing that. And getting our range of motion in our trebles, using our hips and our ankles primarily to open up that treble to get that in and out effect. So the first thing I really want to debunk when you want to try and add this to your trebles, this shakiness, this tippiness of it, I want to really debunk that this is any different from a regular treble. We're not trying to do like a tip here and a tip there. It's not like, we're not doing that. Even though it kind of looks like we're doing that, it's nothing more than a regular treble. We're just adding extra flair. Similar to when we were talking about drums, which I'll link in this video somewhere. We've talked about drums and how the rhythm is the most important thing in developing that foundation of sound, or soundation, I'm still trying to make that a thing, is getting that rhythm first, getting that sound, and then allowing your hip and your ankle to open up more and be used more to add to that. The rhythm and everything we're trying to do within that drum is no different. It's just added flair. And a tippy treble is nothing more than a treble with extra flair. If I wanted to do regular trebles, I could do added tippiness to it. I could do that. Because I'm opening my hips and because I have that foundation and that focus on getting the sound, I can open up that hip extra and get a little more rotation out of that. So I just wanted to debunk that first. I know that it kind of looks like, and the visual of it is that like we're making a sound here and then making a sound here. But it's the same brush forward and brush back that we've been practicing as regular trebles. Brush forward and brush back. But instead of going forward this way, our treble is loosening to the side and back. And so I would highly recommend, and I'm sure your primary dance teacher would also recommend this, really practice your trebles first. Really have like them locked down, like sound is out through the roof, control is through the roof, all your control and balance is in check. No matter how many trebles you do, you're not, hinged by that in any way. Okay? So practice the rhythms. Rhythms first. I gotta hear you before I see you. Okay? Let's just talk about the treble itself. So our brush forward and our brush back. And when we do that faster, we can allow our ankle to help us out in that brush forward and brush back. Okay? We're getting a little bit of use out of that ankle. The faster we make that treble, the more we're inviting that ankle to almost like whip back on the brush back. It's when we do like our fast trebles. You should see like there's almost like a whip back of that foot to get that treble. Okay. Pay attention to my knee. I'm using that as the mechanism to brush forward and brush back. It's not just here. I'm using that knee to generate extra force, extra power. As if I had like a little string tied to the top of my knee, and I'm letting it go and I'm picking it up. dance puppet. But that knee, you want to pick up. So we've been doing our trebles with our knee going primarily up and down. Now I want you to think of like those like Footloose movies, or like early like 50s and 60s dancing where people would do this. All right, you're showing that inside rotation of the knee. So that knee is going inward, along with the hip, along with the ankle, okay? So we want to try and incorporate that into our trebles. The trebles don't change. We're just adding extra rotation through our hip, knee, and ankle to bring it inward while we brush out. So basically, I gotta make like a slow motion of that or something, but. So I want everybody to practice, if you're new to this waviness of your foot, I want you to practice literally almost like you're doing like a Footloose dance. I want you to practice that on both feet. All right, in and out. And notice how your knee is going from here to there. You're allowing your knee to go over and back. You're allowing that ankle or the hip to loosen and extend over and back. And we're allowed to get that outside of the foot showing and then inside foot. We're used to this, all right, and showing this part of our leg, but now we're showing that. And like I'd say with the drums and whatnot, we don't want this to be hanging out too long. We want to be here to show the contrast between the two, black and white, but then we want that flip back to be sharper than flipping over, so that this is more visible. This is more visible. So when you first start picking up this treble and adding the extra flare of the ankle, that tippiness, it almost feels like, it almost looks like your knee's going in a circle. As you practice this more and more and get more efficient with it, you can use a little bit less of that knee. You can use less of that knee while still using all your hip, all your ankle to get that flare, okay? So just practice and let your knee help when you first pick this up to get the rhythm. And it should feel like when you're first doing just our regular trebles and incorporating that wave, I want you to put all your focus into that knee and bringing your knee over like you're doing your Footloose. As you brush out, you're brushing out into your Footloose, all right? This is how we're going to be calling it. And as you can see, I'm holding on to a wall. I'm holding on to some support while I'm doing this. I highly, highly recommend finding some source of balance while you're doing this, or what I would call training wheels, basically, that'll allow us to go for something further than we're capable of, that gives us the support to be able to do that, to then when eventually you have the support and the strength to do it, you won't need that support. But I highly recommend finding like a wall that you won't like dirty up, or like, you know, not a mirror, not you know. Try to find somewhere where you can hold on, get some stability, and practice this. And it's kind of a painfully slow process. You want to do this over and over and over again. Just straight trebles, but then incorporating the Footloose effect. And holding on to this allows me to put more focus into this knee and less into the balance. I say eventually you'll not need that, but for now, to just have complete focus in our treble, forward and back, find a source of stability. So I'm using this bar. So similar to when we do regular trebles, sometimes in a step we don't have the space or capacity to pick up and use our full like knee to generate the energy. Sometimes it stays low. So as you get more efficient with this treble, try to use your knee less and try to use your hip and ankle more. Again, our lifted third is here. This is our prep, and we want to start the treble from there. And as we're pushing out, we're just getting that footloose shake out, okay? And as you flick that, you use your ankle and pull back. You should get that brush back to our original spot here. So before we get into doing one of those type of combinations, just do one of them into a step in. So we're going to start with a hop off the back foot, and then we're just going to do one step in. All right, so 2, 3, and. Okay, try that again. 2, 3, and. Okay, you can take that as at whatever speed you'd like, but just break it down, slow it down, simplify, and then build back. You know, add layers of training wheels, basically, in more ways than others. So I'm using this for balance. But then also, I'm just doing one to focus in on that one treble. And as you get more confident with it, let's try without the hop, just 2 trebles. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, I'm using that knee, and it looks like it's going in like a clockwise pattern. Yeah? Use your hips, extend your range of motion inward with your hip and your ankle, and use your knee to generate the energy, okay, to do this treble. Okay. So, just 2 in a row. Now try to start from a lower point, try and get that same in and out. Okay, and just like how when I just brush out and back, my knee basically extends out. It's extending this way, okay? It's extending inward. Another big tip and recommendation, and please do this, don't just practice this on one foot. Keep everything balanced. It's similar to drums, in that we kind of favor one over the other, and you want to have both just as strong, so that whatever you want to do, you're not going to be crippled or handicapped by like, oh, I have to be on this foot to do this, you know, better. You want to be able to do one foot just as strong as the other. So while you're doing this on your right foot, try to also do the same on your left foot. I'd hate for you to get super strong with one foot and be like, great, I'm done, and then have this, you know, the other foot in a completely different state and without the balance or anything. So you want to practice the left foot just as much as the right foot. So we've done the single treble step ins. Now let's try 2 trebles step in. 2, 3, and. One time. Okay. And also on the left foot. 2, 3, and. So I think I'm going to end it there. I really wanted this to be more of a basics, like a 101, like here's your intro to shaky, tippy trebles. I really wanted to debunk that whole idea that it's a completely separate move than your basic treble. It's a regular treble, just with added flair. It's similar to when we were working on drums, we were just doing the rhythm, and then eventually added that extra flair. It's a regular treble with extra flair. And you really can only get to this level once you've really mastered your trebles, have a strong foundation there of sound, your soundation. Anybody? Yeah? No. Once you have that, then incorporate the shakiness and the waves and the flair. But you really can't progress to that level and have it be what you want it to be unless you have that practice behind you. I remember when I first started incorporating this into my trebles, it took a very long time. It took a lot of practice downstairs in the basement, you know, my little 4x4 space, just doing these trebles over and over again, holding on to something for support, just over and over again, and it eventually got there. What I wanted my feet to do eventually got to my feet, but it took a lot of time. So I can tell you it's going to require a lot of patience. This type of wavy feet, looseness of the ankle can come very naturally to some people, but not to others, like myself. You gotta work at it, you know? It's totally possible, totally doable, but it just will take extra work. And just trust me, from speaking to somebody who this came very unnaturally to, and I had to do the work to make it happen, it is possible. It just takes time. Take it nice and slow. You gotta crawl before you walk, and you gotta walk before you run. And this type of rhythm this type of visual is very much running. So, you know, take your time. We've got plenty of time right now. So why not spend it really developing your fundamentals? Get that treble nice and strong, and then add some flair to it. Let me know your thoughts and experiences on learning these tippy-tippies. And let me know, you know, what's been the trickiest part about them. I'd love to follow up on this video with another, because I think this is something that's really difficult for a lot of dancers. There's a whole lot of tricks beyond this that incorporate the shakiness, and really mastering it here helps you then learn those tricks moving forward. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this, and yeah. We'll chat again soon, but until then, I'll see you later.